this leads us to another question, right? A question from our producer, to be fair. Does Carli Lloyd, at the end of the day, fit on the Mount Rushmore, we're calling it, of the U.S. women's national team? Now, you know me. I'll never shy away from a hot take. And you know me, I love chasing down hits on the internet. But this is not about that. Let's treat this more as like an academic exercise, because it's really, and I put this out on Twitter, it's brutally difficult, right? But this comes down to me to two key questions. Do you count goalies, and what criteria do you use?
Why wouldn't you count goalies?
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
So let's leave the criteria aside for a second. If you do count goalies, if you don't count goalies, there's four names to me that are very, very clearly kind of in your Mount Rushmore. And they're the four most iconic attacking players of their generations, right? Michelle Akers the first, passes the torch to Mia Hamm, who passes it to Abby Wambach, who shares it for a while and then passes it to Carli Lloyd.
Okay.
There's your four, okay? But I don't think you can tell the story of the U.S. women's national team, the true history, without the goalies. And if I'm going to pick a goalie, I'm going to pick Hope Solo. So for the sake of this argument, I'll put Hope Solo in, which means of the four that I just picked, I can only have three, right? So there you can see I've left probably the biggest name out of all, the most well-known name, Mia Hamm, out of the Mount Rushmore. Now, let me explain myself, because, again, this is not a hot take. This is an academic exercise. So this is where criteria comes in, okay, Herc? Criteria. Now, we can measure it in off-field importance, but that's subjective. That's really hard to quantify. You could measure it on on-field accomplishments, Herc, right? On on-field accomplishments. But that's also difficult to quantify because you're comparing across generations in a women's game that has changed incredibly from the 90s to today.
Okay.
So the one criteria that to me stands the test of time is big game performance. So let's go big game performance then from the four field players I mentioned. We'll go through it. You took care of Carli Lloyd. Her big game CV, no problem. Abby Wambach is Ms. Extra Time, right? If there was a big extra time goal to be scored, if there was an extra time game anywhere in any big tournament featuring the U.S. women's national team, she was scoring in it. You can ask Canada, you can ask Japan, you can ask Brazil. Marta would have a gold medal. If not for Abby Wambach, she'd also have a gold medal, another one, if not for Carli Lloyd. So the last name there is Michelle Akers, okay? This is a history lesson for some. Michelle Akers in the 1991 World Cup scored 10 goals. In the final, she scored the only 2 U.S. goals in a 2-1 win. Big game as an attacking player, check. 1999 World Cup final, the game that is the defining game of the legacy of the U.S. women's national team, right? Did the offense win it? No. The defense win it. And who was the defensive center midfielder at 33 years old in 100-degree temperature at the Rose Bowl that had to man-mark the best attacking player in the world that wasn't American? It was Michelle Akers. Okay. So your big game performance there. Now, so you don't come at me, so the Mia Hamm haters don't come at me. I love Mia Hamm.
Okay,
I love Mia Hamm.
Can I get a chance here?
Let me do one more point here. One more point. Because I have to, if you leave Mia Hamm, you have to explain why. 7 major tournaments. In those 7 major tournaments, 19 knockout games. 19 elimination games. How many goals? 2.
Ooh,
none in a final.
After Mia Hamm.
None in a final. No.
Wow.
You've asked me to pick between 4 incredible players. I've given you my criteria. 19 games, 2 goals, 1 in a third-place match, none in a final.
It's been a while since I've seen you shaking your boots this way. You think your mother had the chancla already in her hand.
Hold on, I know it's unpopular.
Okay.
I can handle unpopular. I've been unpopular since the 6th grade. Is it unfair? Is it unfair?
Kinda, yes. Absolutely. I know it's an impossible task, Seb. Michelle Akers is the FIFA Player of the Century, okay? Out the window. Hope Solo revolutionized the position. You have to put her in there. I've never seen a goalkeeper in the women's game like her. Mia Hamm was the face of women's soccer. She put women's soccer on the map. You mentioned when we're talking about Carli Lloyd, one of 2 players to win 2 FIFA Player of the Year awards. Mia Hamm. There is no 99ers. There are no whatever league you want at any type of the landscape in U.S. soccer on the women's side without Mia Hamm. The game isn't in it where it is today without Mia Hamm. You can't talk about women's soccer and not put Mia Hamm's name in the equation. So yes, blasphemy. Get whoever you want to get out of there, but Mia Hamm has to be there.
Okay. You didn't tell me who you're taking out, but I guess we'll leave it there for now. Look, it's a wild debate, and at the end of the day, we're two dudes having it. We really need a woman's perspective here. Yeah. We will bring that for the coming episodes of Futbol Americas, no doubt. Speaking of women's football, there's plenty more of it here on ESPN and the ESPN family of networks. We got the ICC. That's right, a cross-continental affair. We got Lyon and Barcelona. That's 8:30 p.m. Eastern time match you can catch over on ESPNU, and then right after it, Portland Thorns and the Houston Dash, the NWSL side of the bracket. That game on ESPN2 Wednesday. Both those streaming live on the app.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPNFC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.